Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. Now, for consecutive seasons, the Valley has experienced playoff ball for the Phoenix Suns. It's been quite a road the past few seasons. This season, though, has not been a fun one to watch. I make this video after we go down 2-0 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, keep in mind we are not the higher seed as opposed to previous years. We are the 6th seed going against number 2. So it's pretty understandable that we're down 2-0 in the series. However, that does not explain the lackluster basketball I have seen all season long with a team composed of some of the 3 best players in the league. That being Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Now let's take it back to the offseason. The amount of hype surrounding this team, a team that had just freshly acquired Kevin Durant at the trade deadline, and then a team that had traded for Bradley Beal, and then shortly before the season started, dishes away DeAndre Ayton, brings in Nurkic, and now it looks like the pieces are finally coming together. We bring in a couple of role players, good, well-known role players in the offseason to coincide with Bradley Beal. And it was looking bright. The future was looking bright. But it didn't take too long for the season to go just downhill. I mean, and I don't want to say like it's a bust of a season, because at the end of the day, we did make the playoffs, even though it was by the hair of our chinny chin chin. And I watched this team, which I have watched them all year. I watched them against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And honestly, it disgusts me. It disgusts me. And I hate to speak down of my home team. I am a Phoenician and I love my team. But I have to be honest. What I have seen is poorly schemed basketball. And I don't like to point fingers, but I have a finger that I want to point, and that is at Frank Vogel. I think Frank Vogel should have been gone at the deadline or sometime during the season. I don't even think he should have made it to the playoffs. I think we should have pulled a Milwaukee Bucks, even though that is an entirely different situation, considering that the Milwaukee Bucks were 30-13 and I believe the number 1 seed or second. And they fire their coach. No excuse there. And they bring in a doofus like Doc Rivers. But I got an issue with Frank Vogel. I think he's been the deterrent for the Phoenix Suns. And a lot of Lakers fans will sit there and complain about their Darvin Ham. Okay, well, we got to sit with Frank Vogel. You go down this roster. Again, the amount of hype. Reasonable. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. That is a squad that should be just tearing it up. And we did. Yes, Booker had a pretty decent season, and Kevin Durant had a pretty decent season. They both finished top 10 in many stat areas. Bradley Beal, not so much, but he was dealing with injuries. That's, it's not blaming that on him. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. My thing is, when you've got 3 players of their caliber and you can muster up 3 or 4 plays, it disgusts me. I am not some basketball wizard, by no means. But what I've seen is just, it makes my skin crawl the way we run our offense. I mean, here's pretty much the rundown of what I've seen. And I mean, this is in the playoffs too, where you need an elaborate game plan. And it's just not been there. You take a guy like Devin Booker, your star player, and you set a pick at around half court. He pulls in, gets to the key, and pulls up. Now, I understand that Devin Booker can hit those shots. I mean, he has made a career out of hitting those shots. Devin Booker is elite from the mid-range. Unfortunately, they have not gone in. But when that is your shot, your go-to shot every single time, that is all you can draw up. All you can draw up. With 19 seconds left on the shot clock. There's a reason there is 24 seconds. To use that. Use that time to your advantage. To make a smart, efficient play. And we cannot do that. We can barely pass the ball around. We have no ball distribution whatsoever. And that is due to the fact that we lack a point guard. I was watching a play, game 1. It went back from Durant to Allen. From the perimeter to the post. Back and forth, everyone else was stationary. I've seen high school teams who run their offense better. I know schmucks from off the street that could draw up a better game plan than Frank Vogel. I have to be brutally honest. I don't talk down about my teams, but this is a time where I have to. It's disgusting. I have no faith. There's a reason why we're down 2-0. I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. We cannot run our team. Frank Vogel does not know how to run our team. He has no idea how to run the offense. He can barely run the defense. And this is a guy who's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, and he can barely run this team. We let Rudy Gobert. We dished the ball down to Nurkic in the paint, and we let him do his post work. That's not Nurkic's skill. That's not what Nurkic does. And then we do it against a guy who wins Defensive Player of the Year almost every year. That big 7'5" French alien is who we're trying to run that offense against. And he's just making a mockery out of us. Both sides of the ball, he's walked us like a dog. And it's just embarrassing. Ant is going to get those points. People think, okay, the idea of game planning, the objective is to stop Anthony Edwards, their star player, from scoring. No, that's not the objective. He's going to score those points. He's your star player for a reason. That's going to happen. Same with Cat. That's going to happen. But when you're just getting walked like a dog, they're picking us apart defensively as well. And this is Frank Vogel, who's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach. We're getting picked apart, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to go out this sad with 3 star players. It just hurts. It hurts to watch this team, and I think I speak for a lot of fans collectively around the Valley that it's just lackluster to watch this team. I feel like there's no motion, there's no flow to this team. And the hype, the amount of money we've sunken into this team. Matt Ishbia did a great job of acquiring Kevin Durant. We wouldn't be here without Kevin Durant. That was a need. We went out and got him. Big time move. Big time baller move. We love it. It was a good move. His problem was that he got greedy. He saw this team the same way a 16-year-old who just got his license sees an old Beamer and thinks, man, that's a nice car. Low mileage, good price. Look at this Beamer I found on OfferUp. But you know what it is? It's a piece of junk car. I don't care about the luxury name that a BMW has. It's a piece of junk. And that's what this team is. We are luxury brand names, household names. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. They still got to function on a team. This is not playground pickup. If it was playground pickup, maybe we'd be the champions. In fact, we'd be pretty freaking good. Because that's what this team looks like. Playground pickup. Go out and hoop. No type of offensive scheme. And the Lakers fans think they're bad with Darvin Ham. I would rather have Darvin Ham over Frank Vogel. Again, I never like to put entire blame on someone, because that's never the case, that the entire blame goes on one person or one coach. But in this case, honestly, I would have to point the finger at Frank Vogel. It's just I've seen nothing from him. Nothing. We were better off with Monty Williams. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I think we should have kept Monty Williams. I was in favor of firing Monty Williams. I think he had similar problems. He just did not know how to game plan. I mean, he would come up with a good game plan. We'd go up 2-0 in the series, but then what he'd do, he'd pull a Cliff Kingsbury, and he'd get figured out and then have no response. And I'm just watching this unfold with our team. This loaded roster, we're getting picked apart and walk like dogs. Absolutely embarrassing. And that's really it. That's all I've seen these past 2 games. And really the entire season. No offensive scheme whatsoever. I've seen the same 3 or 4 plays. Legit, I'm not even joking. I've seen the same 3 or 4 plays. We go out, Bradley Beal, off the pick, throws it up, and is looking for a foul. What does that get us? Nothing. We try to shove it down the paint. That's smart. Against Rudy Gobert and Cat Williams? Oh, yeah, that's smart. With a center who has no idea how to finish in the paint. And then we take the same shots mid-range with plenty of time left on the clock. Don't draw it up whatsoever. I mean, it's just the same old off one leg or fade away. Again, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker are elite at shooting those shots. They are not falling in. At some point in time, we got to wake up and realize that's not going to work. Maybe if they were shooting 100% from the field, that would work. Maybe if they were all Andrew Iguodala, that would work. But it's not the case. We need, in this very short amount of time before we get swept in 4, to realize we have to come up with something different, because this is playoff ball and it really matters. Frank Vogel needs to take out the whiteboard, take out the marker, and actually do something with it. Make a play, please.